the college boy who was forgotten in the quiet college town of Millbrook, where the pine trees swayed like gentle guardians, and the nights smelled of damp soil and safety. 18-year-old Jordan Hale kissed his girlfriend Maya goodbye and hopped into the old school bus, heading toward the annual scout camp. No one knew that within 24 hours, Jordan would become the center of the largest search the town had seen in years. Not even him. And certainly not Maya, who whispered, "Call me when you get there, okay?" He had smiled like he always did, that half-crooked grin that made her believe nothing bad could ever happen to him. But trouble was already waiting in the woods. The scout camp was lively, crowded older boys joking, younger ones racing each other, instructors yelling about tents and firewood. Jordan had always been the dependable one, the kind who carried other people's bags and tied the perfect knot. But that reputation would become his curse. When the final night ended, a storm tore through the forest. The instructors panicked, people rushed, tents were folded in seconds. In the chaos, the roll call was hurried. Someone shouted, "Everyone's on the bus, move." But everyone wasn't. Jordan had gone deeper into the woods to retrieve a misplaced compass pouch. By the time he returned, the clearing was empty. The buses gone, the campsite abandoned. Only the echoing drip of rain from pine needles remained. He stood frozen, alone, forgotten. A gust of cold wind hit him, and for the first time that day, fear touched his spine. Jordan found shelter under a split cedar, shivering in his damp clothes. He tried calling home, no signal. He tried shouting, only the wind answered. By midnight, he realized something chilling. No one knew he was missing yet. Back home, his mom was setting the table for dinner. His father was watching the football game. Maya was sending him a text. "Did you get there safely?" None of them knew he was curled into himself, fighting the fear of being alone in the wilderness. Every sound became a warning. Crickets, whispers of branches, the low growl of something unseen. Jordan pressed his forehead to his knees and whispered, "Please God, don't leave me out here." By the next morning, everything changed, and it hit hard. The school called in a panic, realizing their huge mistake. Jordan Hale was missing, and suddenly the Hale's cozy kitchen felt like a scene from a nightmare, filled with police officers buzzing around, taking notes. Search teams gathered at the edge of the forest, ready to comb through the woods. Maya showed up barefoot, her eyes red and puffy from crying, and all she could say was, "Where is he? Where is he?" Her voice was filled with a mix of worry and desperation, echoing the fear everyone felt. Within hours, the entire community, farmers, shop owners, neighbors, stood shoulder to shoulder to form search lines. Someone whispered, "He's a good kid. Please, let him be alive." Meanwhile, Jordan chose to walk, believing the camp road couldn't be far. He followed what he thought was a trail, but soon realized it was only a path made by animals. By afternoon, the ground beneath him softened, then collapsed. Jordan plunged waist-deep into a cold, sucking swamp. The mud dragged him downward, inch by inch. He fought, kicked, screamed for help. No one came. Hours passed while he clawed at reeds, sobbing, "I can't die here. Not like this." He thought of his mother's warm eyes, his father's calloused hands teaching him to tie knots, Maya's laugh when she couldn't finish a serious sentence. These faces became his rope. With a desperate lunge, he threw his weight onto a fallen log and rolled out of the swamp, covered in sludge, trembling, but alive. In his exhaustion, he cried, not from pain, but from the overwhelming relief of being spared. At the search site, Maya refused to sleep, eat, or sit. She walked miles, calling his name until her voice cracked. Jordan's mother broke down at the command tent, whispering, "My son, my baby boy, please find him." News stations appeared. Drone teams joined. The community brought lanterns and warm clothes. The Hale family became the face of hope and fear. On the third night, Jordan was starved, dizzy and numb. His body hurt, his spirit was thin. But at dawn, something changed. A cluster of birds began chirping sharply from one direction, steady, rhythmic, urgent. Jordan recalled a wise saying from his grandfather during one of their fishing trips. Birds gather where the forest thins. You know, it always stuck with him. Where the sun hits the roads and open spaces, Jordan pushed on, chasing that beautiful bird song with every ounce of energy he had left. Every step shook him, branches whipped at his face, and his legs just buckled. It felt like he was in a wildstorm, struggling to keep going. But then, out of nowhere, he spotted it. A little glimmer of silver peeking through the trees. A metal guardrail. A road. Civilization. Life was calling him back. Jordan dropped to his knees, sobbing hard, struggling to catch his breath. A delivery driver was cruising along when he suddenly spotted something that made him hit the brakes hard. There, on the roadside, was a mud-covered, trembling boy, just collapsing in exhaustion. The moment Jordan showed up at the search base, all wrapped in blankets, the crowd just lost its screaming, crying, and clapping like crazy. Maya sprinted toward him like a bolt of lightning, almost tripping over her own feet. When she crashed into him, she wrapped her arms around him so tight, he winced. But she just wouldn't let go. His mother cradled his face in her shaky hands, whispering his name softly, almost like she was savoring it for the very first time, soaking in every moment. His father placed a hand on Jordan's shoulder and, trying to hold back tears, said, "You made it, son, you made it." The officers took their statements. Reporters were all around, but Jordan couldn't take his eyes off the forest. It was the same place that almost took him down, yet it showed him just how strong he really was. Weeks later, the town was still buzzing about him. The boy who got lost in the chaos. The boy who bravely battled mud, darkness, and hunger. Everyone remembered his struggle. The boy who followed the simple sound of birds and found life again. At night, when he lay awake, Jordan would remember the swamp pulling at him, the loneliness, the fear, and the moment he first heard the birds break the silence. Maya rested her head on his chest and whispered, "I thought I lost you." He smiled softly. "I wasn't going anywhere. I was trying to get back to you." The town lights glowed beyond his window. The community that once feared losing him now celebrated him. The boy who survived 3 nights in the wilderness. The boy who came home to his parents, narrating what he experienced alone on the thick forest. "I am glad to be back home," he said. Like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories.